Kira, in this bulletin, there's been elation today at a landmark court ruling that parents of disabled children are being unreasonably discriminated against by not being allowed to be paid carers. The Court of Appeal has dismissed an appeal by the Ministry of Health against a finding that its current policy is discriminatory. Cliff Robinson is one of those involved in the case as the father of 2 disabled adult children. He's thrilled at the outcome.
5 of the best legal minds in New Zealand, the 5 judges at the Court of Appeal, have thrown the Ministry of Health's case out, that there was discrimination against the parents, and we have the right to have recompense for our efforts.
Cliff Robinson says the case is recognition that he spent most of his adult life looking after handicapped people. The opposition fears a deal to buy new helicopters for the Navy could end badly. Labour MP Allan Lee is concerned negotiations are underway to buy 11 Sea Sprite helicopters previously rejected by the Australian military. He says Australia's rejected them as not being up to scratch, yet our government insists they will add needed capability. Mr Lee says the Defence Force deserves better than cheap cast-offs. The Queensland fruit fly discovered last week remains the only one to be found. The unwanted visitor was discovered in the Auckland suburb of Avondale on Thursday. Local residents are being urged to remain vigilant. Exclusion zones where fruit can't be taken away from are set to remain in place for another week and a half. Jitters over economic uncertainty have led to a fall in the New Zealand dollar. The faltering Chinese economy, a $2 billion trading loss by the US bank JP Morgan & Chase, and the inability of Greece to form a government have contributed to the market uncertainty. Westpac market strategist Imre Spitzer says they have pushed the Kiwi lower.
On Friday night, we did have a little bit of a rebound and it got up to 78.80, and since then it's declined, and this morning it declined further to a low of 77.96.
Pay cuts are in store for workers taking limited industrial action. Labour Minister Kate Wilkinson has announced an overhaul of labour laws, including changes to collective bargaining processes that will see employers being able to walk away from negotiations if they're unhappy with how the talks are going. Workers who are refusing to perform all their duties can also have their pay cut. Ms Wilkinson says it's about fairness and flexibility. A man's in Christchurch Hospital after being seriously injured while working on a container ship in the port of Lyttelton. The former stevedore was injured in a fall while working on the vessel Spirit of Endurance last night. Health and safety teams and Maritime New Zealand have launched separate investigations. There have been major disruptions for Dunedin CBD today. A contractor cut through a power cable just after 11 o'clock this morning, cutting power to parts of the central city and nearby suburbs. More than 1,500 customers were affected in the CBD and City Rise areas. The Russian opposition demonstration that drew tens of thousands of people to Moscow last week ended in violence, which left dozens of riot police and protesters injured and led to mass arrests. Several hundred opposition activists are now camping out in the Chistye Prudy area of central Moscow. The government says the protesters are camping out illegally and the police will definitely shut down the action sooner or later. Back home, police have today been carrying out an examination of the van which rolled and crashed near Turangi, killing 3 American exchange students. A 20-year-old woman and 2 21-year-old men were killed in the crash on Saturday morning as they were on their way to walk the Tongariro crossing. The US shuttle program may be over, but space expeditions are still on. A Russian Soyuz rocket has been installed over the weekend on its launch pad at the Baikonur Cosmodrome. The Soyuz TMA-04M will be carrying US astronaut Joseph Akaba, along with Russian crewmates Gennady Padalka and Sergei Revin, to the International Space Station tomorrow. The current crew's been on board the station since December 2011. Well, this crew is taking the space shuttle home now, but from all of us here on the news team, ka kite anō.